Hello, I am Ticha Sethapakdi, and I am a PhD student at MIT working with Professor Stefanie Mueller. I am excited to talk to you today about our latest work, KineCAM, which is an instant camera for animated photographs. So while digital and smartphone cameras are powerful photography tools, instant cameras such as Polaroids have kept their appeal. Maybe it's because of their nostalgic value, or perhaps it's the charming form factors of the cameras themselves. But what I personally find appealing about instant cameras is that they're a bit like portable fabrication devices, since they allow you to translate an experience into a physical form on the go. However, as you know, instant photographs can only capture single, static moments in time. But what if there was a way for us to make them dynamic? So we've already seen the digital counterparts of moving photographs, like Apple's Live Photos or the motion photos on Android devices. But how do we make an analog instant photo move? We could try making a flipbook. They're easy to make and can easily be integrated into an instant photography workflow. However, they can also be a bit flimsy and awkward to use. Lenticular prints, on the other hand, are intuitive to interact with, but they require lenticular sheets that can only be made using special manufacturing techniques. So they can't easily be fabricated and don't give end users a lot of flexibility. A good animated photograph would be easy to fabricate like a flipbook, and easy to interact with like a lenticular print. So we want something that's sort of in between the two. So this brings us to an old school animation technique called the barrier grid animation, or KineCAM. The idea is simple. You start with a few frames of animation, so in this case, we start with 3 frames, and then you split up each frame into strips. You then interlace the strips and composite the result. So when you slide a striped overlay across the composited image, it creates the illusion of motion because the stripe pattern ensures that only one full frame is visible at a time. Kinograms are nice because they can be made using simple fabrication techniques. Images can be printed with any kind of printer, and the striped overlays can be printed on regular transparency film. And this brings us to KineCAM. It's a device that creates animated instant photographs by capturing and fabricating kinograms on the spot. So here you can see that it records a short 1-second video and uses the first, middle, and last frames to create the kinogram. So one nice thing about KineCAM is that it is open source and made from off-the-shelf components that cost less than $100 altogether. You just need a Raspberry Pi, a camera, and a thermal printer, which is the same kind of printer that they use to create receipts. So we used KineCAM to create a portrait series and observed how the subjects interacted with the camera. And we noticed that KineCAM was encouraging play and experimentation thanks to its short turnaround times and easy to obtain materials. These characteristics are important since both photographers and their subjects rely on iteration to acquaint themselves with KineCAM's less conventional photographic process. KineCAM also functions as a social tool. So the presence of a camera can motivate people to behave differently or do unexpected things. And we have also observed this with KineCAM. Since subjects didn't know what to expect from the camera, it offered an experience in which they could discover and learn the behaviors and affordances of the camera together. In our photo shoots, people would call their friends over to do motions together or assist them with more ambitious poses, such as leaping into each other's arms or slapping each other's faces. KineCAM also creates unique physical artifacts and experiences. Polaroid historian Peter Buse once argued that Polaroids are valuable in today's digital world because they are one of a kind. So this also applies to KineCAM. The image isn't stored in memory, so it's not easily reproduced. And viewing the kinogram itself is also an experience that varies each time the user moves the filter across the image. So while users can technically scan and reprint the kinogram later on, there can only be one true receipt of their experience. Finally, KineCAM creates surprises. Research has shown that creative tools which incorporate some degree of unexpectedness can be beneficial to the creative process. Since KineCAM does not allow users to preview or edit their kinegram before printing, users really don't know what to expect until the photos are printed. While this takes control away from the user, it can also produce serendipitous results. So for example, one subject in our photo shoot wanted to record a gesture in which he forms a heart with his arms, but since he didn't time the gesture to fit within the 1 second window, the resulting kinegram looked like he was flapping his arms. But instead of redoing the pose, the subject was amused by the outcome and appreciated the unexpected result. So what's next for KineCAM? So far, we only explored how KineCAM can operate in a social context, but we believe it can be used in other application areas as well. So for example, maybe a traditional artist can use it for rotoscoping by taking pictures of their moving subject and tracing them. We open source KineCAM to give the maker community the opportunity to explore its creative possibilities. So in conclusion, while there is tremendous value in approaching technology with a forward-thinking perspective, it can also be inspirational to look back and revisit technologies with a sense of nostalgia. We envision that KineCAM will be used in clever and creative ways that we cannot currently imagine, and we look forward to seeing what people can do with it. Thank you.